9 years ago today, 8 News Now aired a story that set off a UFO stampede. It was about a former government scientist named Bob Lazar who claimed to have worked on a secret program in the Nevada desert to analyze recovered alien technology.
And ever since then, Las Vegas has been a UFO town. Locals here keep tabs on UFO news and developments, and there have been plenty of both in the last year. Now there is statistical evidence that proves Southern Nevada's fascination with unknown aerial objects is real. The I-Team's George Knapp has the story.
What are these things floating around in daylight skies over Las Vegas? The images were recorded a few years ago by a local man. Everything from what looked like stationary plastic bags to a tandem of dark spheres that danced around each other to three-orbed contraptions that seemed to change shapes and move against the wind.
They started making aerial maneuvers that in dead stop and then start up again, like they're searching for it. It was like searching for ants.
Bob has collected dozens of photos and videos of the objects he spotted near his central Las Vegas home, but he's never filed a formal report with the two civilian groups which collect such information, nor did he contact government agencies who say they are not interested.
Something very intriguing is going on. I mean, we've been told for 50 years by the government there's nothing to this, but people are still seeing them.
Systems analyst Cheryl Costa and her wife, a fellow data cruncher, decided to take some of the guesswork out of UFO numbers. The consensus for years has been that 90% of UFO sightings are probably misidentifications of explainable objects, such as planes or planets, and that at least 90% of people who see one never report it at all. Costa thinks it's closer to 1 in 4,000 UFO sightings that are ever reported, which means there are a heck of a lot of things being seen in the skies, including Nevada.
2001 to 2017, nationally, 139,876 reported sightings. Nevada ranked number 25, up from rank of number 26 in 2015. Nevada had 1,855 sightings in the 17-year period. Clark County ranks number 6 of over 3,000 counties in the United States. It's in the top 10.
The Costas created this massive UFO desk reference, which breaks down UFO sightings by state and county, but also by time of day and by shapes of the objects that were seen. Not just circles or lights or triangles in the sky, but also more exotic types, including shapeshifters, like the ones recorded over Las Vegas.
3 shapes, and they are on the steep increase. Egg-shaped, teardrop-shaped, and Saturn-shaped.
The state and county rankings in the desk reference do not account for population, just raw sighting numbers. So California is far and away number 1 overall. Nevada's sparse population and wide open spaces mean that whatever is flying around in the desert is less likely to be seen. Nonetheless, residents of Las Vegas are holding up their end and then some.
The city of Las Vegas, which blew my socks off, especially when you look at the fact that the state ranked only number 25, Las Vegas itself is the number 2 city in the country for UFO sightings. Number 1 is Phoenix.
Costa makes no guesses about who's flying these craft or where they're from. One Nevadan who tried to tackle those questions is former Nevada Senator Harry Reid, who quietly initiated a Pentagon program to secretly study UFO cases, including some now famous videos released a year ago by the Pentagon, though the case files have not been made public.
George, I think these studies are so loaded with information. The reason I say that is that we learned a lot, but one thing we did learn is that over the decades, there have a lot of things happened that there's no explanation for.
Not yet, anyway. George Knapp, 8 News Now.
All right, so if you would like to know more about UFO sightings in Nevada or really anywhere else in the country, we have links to the UFO desk reference along with other reports that we've produced.
Plus, there was a flurry of UFO reports this weekend from airline pilots, and we have that story online as well.
The first thing I started seeing were odd-shaped balls that would change color and just dart across the sky. I mean, at phenomenal speeds.
Ever wanted to see an honest-to-goodness UFO? This Las Vegas man sees them all the time. He worries about being labeled a UFO wacko, so he agreed to hide his identity. call him Bob.
I started seeing them at night, and okay, they're balls of light, and they're not aircraft or jets.
Bob lives in a central Las Vegas neighborhood and for the past 2 years has been seeing and photographing weird objects in the skies over his home. He started with still photos, then switched to video to record the movements of things like this opaque pretzel-shaped whatever.
They started making aerial maneuvers that dead stop and then start up again, like they're searching for it. It was like searching for like ants.
The objects appear at different times at different points. Few of Bob's neighbors seem to notice the aerial ballet above their rooftops. Bob says he has an extra advantage, 20/10 vision, which allows him to spot things in the sky that others might overlook. Hard to believe that no one else noticed this tandem of dark spheres that danced around on a recent afternoon. What the heck are those anyway? This one looks like a big plastic bag caught in the wind, but it stayed up there, way up there, for an hour. This one looks like a satellite, but it sat there for 4 hours. Satellites move.
UFOs are definitely real. What they are, that's in question.
Colonel John Alexander, a retired Army intelligence officer who has a skeptical interest in UFOs, watched Bob's footage.
Seems to me it looks a lot like the one that they shot down in New Zealand.
But he isn't sure what he was seeing. He doubts they're anything from, say, Area 51.
It's quite possible that things might fly in this area. However, they would not be the extremely sensitive kinds of things. You don't test the super sensitive advanced technology where it's going to be readily available to major metropolitan areas. That is what they do out in the desert a long ways away.
This is the shape of it, actually.
This is a computer-enhanced freeze frame of an odd object. On video, the three-orbed thingamajig looks a lot like balloons tied together, but these orbs seem to be tumbling over each other in flight, and the object has a twin. If they're moving with the wind, why do they move in different directions?
You can't have two craft, with wind draft patterns coming down and then almost colliding, and then one doing a maneuver bending over it. It actually, when you slow it down, you see it bends. It bends over. It's like they're interacting. This one's kind of stationary. This one's just jamming up now. I mean, look at the separation.
Within seconds, the two objects put a huge distance between themselves. Maybe they're balloons, maybe not. This one was frozen in the sky for a while, then zipped away behind the clouds. Very unballoon-like behavior. Bob is convinced there's a lot of stuff in the sky that we can't recognize, but we can see them if we try.
Could it be a matter as simple as you got to go outside and look?
Yes.
Because they're up there.
They're up there.
George Knapp, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.